Hello and welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to have a look at how we go about documenting our blueprints and packages. So if you're not sure what I mean by documenting blueprints and packages, essentially I'm talking about making it as easy as possible for someone to use one of your creations in their own games in Crayta. A blueprint like this one before me is just a starting template for a game. And a package is one element that someone might want to put in their game. It could be some lights, it could be some meshes that are configured in a certain way, or it could be a whole bunch of scripts. The reason for documenting them is it means that it's easy for someone to grasp how to use this thing, how to modify it, and essentially reduces any barriers that might be in their way, stopping them from making the most of your package or blueprint. I'm going to have a look at it in the context of this blueprint, but the same things can be applied for packages too. To start with, I need to think about my end user. I need to try and get in their head. And a really good way to do that is to take your blueprint or your package, make a copy of it. So if I do that, I'm going to press Escape, go to Create, find my blueprint and create a copy. And then go ahead and use that copy to make a game to see whether I can do it from my blueprint. So what I'm doing is I'm testing to see whether my blueprint works as a blueprint. And the same thing you can do with a package. You would create a new game, install your package that you might still keep private for now, not make it public, and just test whether it works out of the box or whether there's any specific configuration you might need to do, and whether you might be able to do that sort of stuff as the creator before publishing it. So you're trying to make it as easy as possible for someone to use this. Okay, so once you've tested and made sure that your package or your blueprint really works without you being there, or really works out of the box, let's explore adding some additional support for our creators to go ahead and use it and get the most enjoyment out of that. So in my blueprint example, one of the key things that I like to see in a blueprint, if I'm just starting using it, is a nicely organized world tree with things labeled appropriately. I've just entered advanced mode, but you can also get to the world tree by highlighting something, pressing E to open the entity editor, and then selecting the world tree tab over here. So as you can see, the world tree for this is fairly nicely organized, but there's a couple of things that I'd like to improve here. If I go over to this locator one is such a generic name for a locator. And if in my game, I have it as a property of something, say for example, this portal has the destination locator one, it could be a little bit confusing to have such a generic name. And it also could be that there's multiple locators called locator one. So I'm going to improve that by logically naming the things in my world tree. This locator acts as the destination for portal 2. So when someone navigates to portal 2, I want their character to respawn at locator 1. Don't worry too much about the ins and outs of what that means. It's just specific for my example. I'm just going to change the name of this locator 1 because locator 1 is too generic to be portal, what's that portal called? Portal 2 arrival. And notice that this will have changed in the property of the destination of this one. So now it feels like, yeah, okay, so when they jump through this portal, they're going to be going to portal 2. I'm just giving my potential creator in the future that little bit extra information that they can get at a glance without having to click around and navigate through the scene. So it's all about giving them as much information, it's all about giving them a reasonable amount of information with things named logically and your world tree designed logically. By logical, I just mean ordered nicely, ordered in a way. Rather than being everything everywhere, things named odd things or not appropriate things, you know, that sort of stuff. So once I have my world tree nicely organized, another thing that is also quite important is if you've written any scripts in your package or your blueprint, it's a really good idea to make sure that the properties have got the tooltip set. The tooltip comes up when you hover over what the property name is. So you can see underneath destination, you can see the tooltip is saying the locator to send the player to. This is super helpful for anyone who doesn't know scripting or doesn't want to go into the script to find out what things do. And we just set that by, if I open the portal jump script, we set it by, just going to full screen that, changing this tooltip here. So you can see I've set my tooltip part attribute of all of these properties. And all I'm doing is giving that little bit of extra information that someone can get at a glance without having to dive into the code, or if they're using basic mode, they might not even be able to do that. So once you've done some tooltips, if you do have any custom scripts, I would also urge you to think about commenting some of your code. You don't have to go through every single line and say exactly what each line is doing unless you're using it for some kind of teaching or learning purposes. But where you've got a function like this, it might be nice to comment where it's called from so that people aren't having to loop around and find all of the spaghetti in the spaghetti code. So I'm going to comment here and I'm just going to say teleport is called when a player enters the portal trigger. That's how it's set up at the moment in the blueprint. The person who takes this might choose to call it from somewhere else or do something completely different with it. That's totally fine. But what I'm trying to do here is just give that little bit of information. When it's published, I'm marking the sand almost to say this is what these things are doing at the moment. If they choose to make any changes or mix it up, then that's totally fine. They can go ahead and do that. So I've commented my code, I've added some tooltips, I've organized my world tree in a nice logical way. So the next thing to do is to write up some documentation. So to do that, I'm going to head over to the Discord, which I've done here. And let's just close this for now. So in, not the Discord, the forum. So on the forum, you can see I've got forum.crayta.com in my URL bar here. And whether it's a package or a blueprint, you just go to package guides. You're going to write up a guide for how to use your package or your blueprint in package guides. You can see there's lots of great examples of people guiding and writing documentation in here. Some of the best ones that I've seen are, there's ones like this one, for example. This is a tutorial package by Russ. He talks about how to install it, how it works in the game. He even includes an example of a game. So these are really important things to consider. You want at least to talk about how to set it up, at least to talk about what it does, and then an example is a great idea. So, if you did go ahead and test your package or your blueprint, you could also publish that as an example of your package or blueprint in action, and then people can go and check it out and have a look. Also, the forum is a great place to engage with creators who might be using your package. You can see that Russ is engaging with creators here, helping them out, giving them some support, and then also updating his package so that it's reflecting what the users are asking for and what they want. That's a super important and powerful thing to do, and it's a great learning demonstration. So you can publish a package, someone might come back with some feedback, you can learn from that feedback, improve the package, republish it, and keep going and going and going until you're becoming an absolute master of creating packages. Let's look at making writing the documentation for my blueprint. So here, I'm going to click Open Draft. You might have not created a draft, so you might click New Post, and I'm going to write a title here. And then I'm going to write some content. So remember, you want to include some kind of setup guide. You need to explain what it does. And then also some frequently asked questions. So for example, I've got how to add a new portal, how to set the portal destination, changing the cost of the portal. And I've also included some handy images with all of these. So let's have a little look at this. So if I show you in the preview window on the right hand side, you can see that I've included some images and I've just snipped specific sections of where I am doing my guiding and my editing here. So if we go in the game, what I want to do, I'm on a Windows PC at the moment, so I'll just explore how to do that. So the best thing to do is to put yourself in basic mode like this. And then think about if your package is designed to be used by someone using basic mode. I mean, it might be advanced mode only, in which case you should definitely stipulate that in your package guide. So I'm in basic mode and I'm going to show how to change one of the properties of my portal. So I'm going to go to my portal, interact with it, make sure that I'm at the property that I want to change. Maybe it's this drop down that selects a destination. And I can just highlight one example, and then if I press Windows Shift S, that brings up my snipping tool, and I can essentially just snip just that bit of information, and it will automatically copy it to the clipboard. Now, if I press Escape and minimize that, go back to the forum here, I can just paste that in by right click and paste, or Control V, and the forum handles my image uploading, and it will just upload that snippet that I've just taken there. There you can see it's come up, it's uploaded, it's given us a little preview as well. To delete that, I'm just going to delete that line there. So it's a super powerful system. You can add pictures, you can also add GIFs. If you know how to record your screen to add a GIF, then I strongly suggest you do that too. And then once you're happy, I'm happy with this. This is my adventure portal blueprint. I'm going to create topic, make sure that that's posted. So that's posted up. And another thing I need to do is just make sure that I've published any updates to my blueprint or my package. So I'm going to do that by heading into the create menu. This is for blueprints, for example. Click on the blueprint I'm currently working on. Update it, or you might also be clicking publish as a blueprint. Agree to the terms of service again. Make sure that it's called the same thing that you've called it on your forum guide. Make sure that you've got a detailed game description. Select an image. I would strongly recommend that you choose an image that you've taken of your game in action, so that it gives a clear idea of what your game is going to be about, or what the blueprint is about. If you've made a package, you won't have to select a screenshot. Select some more supporting images, also useful. Make sure to tag it correctly and then click publish. So I've just published my blueprint. I've added my forum post to help anyone that might need a bit of additional assistance, or might just want to read through how to go about using that blueprint. And the last thing I need to do is head over to the Discord and make sure that I publish it. I post about it on the Discord in the relevant channels. I hope this has been a useful and interesting tutorial. I really strongly urge you to make sure that you document your blueprints and your packages. If nothing else, it's really good for yourself to get into the habit of doing this, because you're thinking then in the shoes of the people that are going to be using those things. And that's a super helpful thing to do. I really look forward to seeing your packages and your blueprints in Crayta.